Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Social Club podcast. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button at the end of the video if you like the content. I'm your host, May Lai, mortgage specialist, and today we're diving into some real talk and conversation. I've got here Dale from Las Vegas. He's a realtor. He is slaying it up there. So welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here today to talk about Las Vegas.
Yeah, and talk about you too, right?
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
So
So a little bit about me, right? My name is Dale Bella, eXp Realty. I've been a realtor here in Las Vegas for the past 5 years. Man, it goes really quick. It almost seems like the other day that I just got started. But yeah, I don't know. 5 years has passed. I've been in Vegas since 2013, originally from Seattle, Washington. Definitely moved because of the cost of living and then also the sun, right? Seattle's a little bit
nice.
gloomy.
That's true,
Yeah,
huh? You wanted some sun. That's why you went to Vegas.
for sure, for sure. Especially like growing up in that type of environment. It's not even the rain. People say that it rains a lot in Washington. It's more so that it's just always dark, thick clouds, right? And I feel like when it's always like that, you just don't have as much motivation to to go out and be more proactive. Like I know for an example, right? If I never moved to Vegas, I probably would have never started a YouTube channel like touring homes if I was in Washington. Because if I would
Hmm.
look outside and just be like, yeah, I'm staying in, I'm watching Netflix, you know? So
Yeah.
def Vegas is definitely it's grown on me. I love this city. I've been a realtor for 5 years, and
Hmm.
it's going pretty well. I've had some success. I started a YouTube channel back maybe 2 or 3 years ago,
Hmm.
touring new construction homes, and that was really the like the big step for me to I guess hit all the reach the type of success that I experienced today. So
So
yeah, that's
let
a
me
quick
ask
little
you a
background.
question about that, since
Hmm.
you spoke so highly about YouTube and how you feel that
Yeah.
it's helped with your success. Um,
Right.
how did you get into doing that? Like, what made you decide, all right, Dale, I'm going to do this today, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create YouTube content. Where did that idea come from, and what got you
Right.
going with it?
That's a that's a great question. So the way it started, so I became a realtor 2020, right, during the pandemic.
Hmm.
And gosh, it's as a new realtor, it's so overwhelming. Like you think about
Hmm.
so many things and um like you think about like learning contracts, right? You also thinking about actually learning how to do your job, right? And then so you feel like you have to learn all these things first, but then
Hmm.
other people are telling you like you have to find business. It's like, oh, I gotta find business, and then it's just like learning how to do open houses. There's so many different avenues that you have to learn as a realtor because most jobs you're doing a specialization, right? um, when it comes to being a realtor, you have to do like 10 different things at once, and you kind of have to prioritize what's most important for you to do at that very moment. So, as I was learning, I was, just like any other realtor, I was like really overwhelmed with everything, but I knew marketing was very important. And there was like a million ways to go about it, honestly. Like there was, you know, I think the first thing that people here to do is do open houses, right? So it's like, yeah, work your open houses, call your database, call all your leads, let them know you're in real estate. And I was doing a little bit of everything, right? I was doing a little bit of
Hmm.
that, a little bit of open houses. I was doing Facebook pay per click ads, door knocking, because prior to real estate, like I did door knocking before, so I'm not that intimidated with door knocking. And
Okay.
then the way I got into YouTube was I wanted to learn more about new construction here in Las Vegas because I was not too familiar and I knew it was everywhere. So what I did is I just went on YouTube, and there's probably like 3 or 4 realtors that's on there, and they do home tours, right? And they do it pretty consistently, but I was really impressed seeing all the engagement in their comments. I was like, wow. Like I'm just looking at their comments, I'm like, man, this guy is getting like a bunch of leads from his YouTube channel. He has to, like, these people are really
Hmm.
interested. And I think that was like the aha moment for me when I was just looking at his all the engagement and a couple of different other ones. So then I just decided, I think this was 2020, right? So then I decided to make it my New Year's resolution 2021. I was going to start a YouTube channel. And then pretty much what happened that whole year went on. I didn't make any videos. I was too intimidated. I was too scared. I was in my head way too much. Um, and then 2022, yeah, 2021 was my goal. I didn't do it. 2022, the very first day I hopped in, I didn't know too much about the community. I just decided to take my gimbal, my phone, and just start recording, and I'll figure it out from then. And
Mhm.
that's really how it started. So
No, that's great. No,
yeah,
I applaud you for doing that and taking the courage to do, to take that leap of faith. And I'm glad it's brought in you a lot of business and relationships. And yeah, you have a lot of entertainment there. So I'm sure you do your
yes,
business, but you have a lot of fun too.
for sure. So many activities, honestly. But one thing I love though is the food scene here is just like amazing. It's endless amount of good food. Like you can't like it's impossible to try it all. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Um, but I
Yeah.
always look forward to that. And I don't go to the strip too often, but it's just knowing that it's there is pretty cool. But yeah, I've been a realtor for 5 years. It's been going really well. Actually, I've been with EXP Realty throughout my whole journey. And I want to say, the first 2 years was just trying to like feel out the industry, feel out the process. And my business really started getting going around 2023 after I really established the YouTube channel. A lot of my clients come from out of state, out of country, from Hawaii. They're
Yeah. We
interested
got
in
a
like new
lot of people
construction.
there. We got a lot of people in
A lot of
Vegas.
Yes, yes, the ninth island for sure. It's cool. Like it definitely there's you get a lot of Hawaii vibe out here with all the restaurants too. Um, and the people are cool. Like people from Hawaii are just cool. They're like I don't know. Like I like the vibe. But yeah, 5 years in the game. Been pretty busy. The YouTube channel has really been it's been going. So that's my journey.
It's been great. I love what you
Mhm.
do. I see your content, and um, I remember something that I saw, that how you spoke about, you know kind of being hesitant of putting content out there, but then you just mentioned you just do it. You just put yourself out there, and it feels uncomfortable and all that, but you've really grown your business, and congratulations on all the success you have in Vegas.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, it's really about getting uncomfortable for sure. Because prior to real estate, actually, I didn't I was never active on Instagram or anything like that. I didn't even like taking photos, to be honest with you. Like
Mhm.
I would maybe post something once a year. But I don't know, when you get into real estate, you kind of just have to ask yourself, right? If I continue being the way I um, am I really gonna make the most um, of what I'm trying to do here, right? So at the
Mhm.
same time, like I felt like I was trying to look for ways to go about real estate without doing photos, without doing videos, for me to just be me and live more of a private life.
Mhm.
But I was just I was just lying to myself. Like there's you know anybody in our anybody in our field, like you really have to put yourself out there. And um, I know anybody can because I was able to do it, and I'm just naturally an introvert. So, so yeah, I definitely understand that process for sure of
it's
getting
it's
uncomfortable.
it's so funny that you say that you're an introvert. I also, it resonates with me so much. I'm more of the, person behind the
Mhm,
scenes, shooting from behind, behind the
mhm.
camera, right? Not in front. I hate being in front of camera, but I also had to kind of put myself out there, and I hate speaking in front of people. It just feels
Mhm.
a little unnatural, and I'm a little shy. It makes me very uncomfortable. And so
Right.
yeah, it resonates with me a lot with what you said.
Well, you know what, Melai? I'm proud of you, honestly,
Thank you.
because for you, yeah, no, for sure. Because for you starting this, the whole like podcast thing and just doing what you're doing, and you telling me that about yourself, like, much props to you for sure. I
Appreciate
love that. I love that. And that's honestly, if you want success, like, I feel like that's what you have to do. Everyone wants to just like live within their little comfort zone, right? And
it. Hmm.
I'm sure one day I will. That's probably when I'm like retired. But yeah, like, right now, like, my biggest fear is not living up to my potential. So that's why I have to uh just go out there and just be uncomfortable for sure. And even like public speaking more, right? I'm not the best at that, but I know I have to do that more often as well. So I'm definitely like gonna run towards that, you know?
No, I love that. I love that. Dale, that's awesome. Um,
Mhm.
so I know Vegas is evolving, and so how is it right now in the market? Are people buying? Are they investing? What's it kind of look like right now? Maybe now and actually the last, 3 months, 6 months.
Right, for sure. So Vegas is a I want to say so Vegas is a unique market,
Mm,
right? Unique market in a sense where um it's a place that people are leaving their states and maybe even countries to come and live to Vegas, right? So I think, the coolest thing about like the US, right, is that everyone comes from everywhere, right? But I feel like Vegas is almost that city of the United States where um, all your neighbors are just from like really random places, right? Like it could be New York, New Jersey,
uh-huh.
Georgia, Hawaii,
Hmm.
Oregon, California. So the market is still busy, but it has slowed down a little bit, right? So I think that's just because of obviously like the interest rates, right? They're still a little bit higher. I think, sometimes buyers are watching the news. There's a lot of noise right now.
Hmm.
So s- spring, like season wise, spring is supposed to be pretty busy, but it's been a little bit slower. And not as much first time home buyers is what I'm seeing here. I feel like we're getting a lot of repeat buyers. There's still cash buyers and still first time home buyers, but just not as much, right? I
Hmm.
think I looked at the nationwide statistic and it said it went from like 32 to like 25. And I feel like that's pretty um, like the same here in the Vegas market.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. There is
Oh,
definitely shifts happening based on the interest rate and the climate of what's kind of happening. Condos are a huge
oh,
issue to the insurance, and that is a major issue. But right now, there's a bill in motion to help here in Hawaii. The governor signed to kind of give some aid for the insurance to help that situation, so that it doesn't go as high. So that's one thing. There's movement and traction. Single family homes is still moving. So, what do you think is the biggest change in buyer or inventory behavior this year? Why are more people more hesitant?
great question, right? So there's definitely more hesitation in this market. Again, I think it's just because of, obviously the rates have been staying the same. But if you're like, yeah, I mean, if you were asked for my opinion, I feel that a lot of people are kind of just holding off for now. Like there's been a lot going on with the news lately. Um, and, sometimes buyers, I think it more so has to do with the interest rates, to be honest with you. Just because the affordability is just, it's tough. It's tough. Like, especially when I compare, um, when I used to read the loan estimates for my clients to a couple years ago when interest
Uh-huh.
rates were really low compared to
Hmm.
what it is right now. I could definitely see why, because it's night and day. It's really different, right?
Hmm.
So I'm definitely the biggest thing I'm noticing for sure is just buyers are on they're just taking a pause right now, and there's a little bit more inventory. And because I do a lot of new construction homes, builders are very, very aggressive with trying to sell these homes because, you know, a lot of these builders are publicly traded companies too, right? So when they have, it's more about numbers. Like they need to make sure that they're selling these homes. So that's why, um, you know, I could tell how the market is based on like a lot of times their incentives that they're throwing. So,
So that's a good segue to let's talk about new construction. I know that is a space that you live in and you know a lot about. A lot of your buyers sounds like they are from out of state
mhm.
sometimes. So, what are some numbers that you're seeing when you're describing construction? Builders giving incentives. What does that number look like, and how would you match that to where the market is?
When you say what are those numbers looking like? Are you talking about like what's their like monthly payments, or are you talking about just what type of incentives they're providing?
Exactly. Just specifically what their incentives are providing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I could tell you for sure. Because you know, interest rates right now, right? They're gonna be what in the mid, like in the sixes, maybe
Yep.
even the sevens,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to like new construction, like there are builders out there, for example, currently right now. So if you're watching this and you're hoping to get this right, it could change later. But like I
Right.
know, for example, Lennar, what they're doing is they're offering a 4.99 30-year fixed, but they're also doing a 3-2-1 buy down on top of that. So they're doing like a 1.99, 2.99, 3.99. But just on top of that, you could also get like a pretty huge price reduction. Like any standing moving, like move-in ready home, standing inventory, builders are doing price reductions. They're buying your interest rate downs to like the fixed 4%. Um, I've seen multiple builders offer arms now. So it's like a 7/6 arm adjustable rate mortgage where it's locked in at like 3.875 for the first 7 years, which is still really good because, you know, I mean, if you consider how long people actually stay in homes for, right? It's what, like 8 to 9 years on
Mm-hmm.
average. So, yeah, I mean, plenty of incentives. You know, it could be that or paying off your closing costs, buying down your interest rate to like maybe in the high fives, but they definitely make it very appealing for buyers, especially if they're considering like resale, like weighing out the options versus resale and new construction.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Do you think because of that, it's the battle of new construction and purchases for resale? Have you seen it affect the pricing of appraisals for resales?
Um, you know what? So I I I wouldn't, it's a little bit tricky, right? Because the thing about um the thing about resales is I don't think it's really messing with the appraisals too much, right? Um, it just it just depends, right? For example, I want to say, okay, if you're looking, for example, my house, right? So I bought this, it's a Lennar home. I bought it about a year ago. Um, Now I bought this for about like it's a single story home. I thought I got a pretty good deal on it. It was like 725, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it had like a whole bunch of incentives tied to it, right? They bought it down to 4.5%, 30-year fix. I got my closing costs covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, all those incentives though it is added value to the house, right? When I was recently looking at the comps for this neighborhood, because some people are reselling it, it's the purchase price for what's actually being purchased is less than I purchased it for. But if you take into consideration like all the incentives that I have, and you take all that amount and reduce it from what I bought it for, it pretty much would be what it's selling for today, right? So it could be kind of tricky. I would say when it comes to, I would say it's if you bought a new construction home and they're still building that same new construction, um, the the appraisals might be a little bit different than you're thinking, right? Because you do have to account for all the incentives that you've had, right? But there are a lot of communities that just have resale homes, and
Mhm.
as long as it's priced right, those ones are still moving too. Because the thing about new construction is, although it is appealing, a lot of buyers they have a specific area of where they're looking to buy a home, right? And a lot of those times there's not new construction communities. Um, so resale homes definitely there's still definitely advantages with resale homes because here in Nevada or Las Vegas, um, property taxes is a big pro about resale homes, right? Usually, like what I've noticed, the older the home, the lower the property tax is, right?
Mhm.
And it could be a pretty huge difference. Like if you buy a new construction, it's like 500,000. I mean, you're paying like about 1%, 5 grand a year, about what, like 400 plus in property taxes. But if you find like a resale home, you could almost be paying like half of that, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, resale homes though too, they have, fixed backyards and all of that. New construction, you kind of have to like put a lot of money into it. You have to invest in it. So,
And are
did I
there
answer your question?
oh yeah, that totally does. Thanks so much. What about the areas where you are seeing? So tell me a little bit more about what's going on with new construction builders in Las Vegas. And I know you're talking about a little about incentives and what's kind of happening in the market now.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. So, Las Vegas is a growing town. Definitely, a lot of people moving from everywhere, right? The Vegas market initially was like a tourism city, and so a lot of people that worked in um, hospitality, the strip, and whatnot. But it's been growing. More tech companies are coming out here, baseball teams,
Hmm.
sports teams.
Hmm.
So as Vegas is growing, they have to build more homes. So there's a lot of new construction, just everywhere, all throughout the city, all the way from like North Las Vegas, northwest, head west, southwest, south, southeast, right? Um, so yeah, builders are everywhere right now, and because the market is a little bit slower, they are throwing a lot of incentives right now to buyers, right? Um, they're willing to pay for their closing costs. They could do price reductions. They are buying down their interest rate. So um, I'm seeing a lot of that going on right now. But for anybody listening and you're trying to get the best deal on a new construction home, though, you definitely have to go with like a move-in ready home or a quicker move-in, right? One that's going to be completed in about a month or two, because the type of incentives that I'm seeing is 30-year fixed in the 4%, below 5%. I'm seeing closing costs get paid for, right? Again, with price reductions as well. So I think the builders know the type of situation, that the market's in, where it's less and less first-time home buyers in this market because of affordability. So that's just kind of the route that a lot of new constructions is going. They're trying to do their best to make it affordable for a bunch of these buyers.
And, I guess the battle between new construction and resale, what do you think of kind of what are people more leaning towards? Or, I know that's a hard question to really answer, but what are you seeing between the
Mhm.
two?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great question too, because I feel like with inventories increasing right now, right? If a seller wants to sell in this market where we're slowly trending to be a buyer's market, they have to be pretty competitive, right? So they have to be priced really well. They have to have great photos, great marketing. But um, there is still a demand for a lot of resale homes, despite, regardless of all the things that you're hearing about new construction and buy it down to like really low interest rates. Because although that is important to a lot of buyers, where having a low interest rate is probably like number one, there are a lot of buyers out there, especially when it comes to repeat home buyers or somebody looking to level up or put their house on rent, they look at very specific areas, right? Like they're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with Vegas. They're looking for specific areas and sometimes new construction. And although it's in a lot of places, it's not everywhere, right? So anybody that's looking to buy in a specific place, for the most part, resales is all the all that's available, right?
Right.
But there's also benefits too with going with resale as well. Um, and I think at the end of the day, the buyer just has to be informed and they have to do their homework because although they're getting a lower interest rate, if they're looking at a resale home, but property tax on that resale home is like half as much as it would be for new construction, then you have to take that into consideration because you're looking at a pretty good chunk off of your monthly payment that you're not paying with on property taxes for resale homes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've sold a lot of homes like, because FHA out here, you could get a house that's 544,000 and then your 3.5%, you put your 3.5% down and then you borrow the max loan amount in Clark County, which is 524. But, you could be paying property taxes from like anywhere like 400 to 500, 400, 500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at resale homes, you could almost it might almost be half of that, right? So that's something to consider as well. And then also too, there are times where I do recommend resale homes for sure, especially because a lot of people that move to Vegas they want a pool, and I definitely would recommend buying a house with a pool than building a pool because if you buy a house with a pool, it's it's so much easier, right? Um, the way the appraisers have it, I mean, they could add about just depending on the neighborhood, right? 20 to 50 grand more for that house with the pool. But if you bought new construction and you wanted to build it, that's like minimum. You're going to be spending like 75, 70,000 all the way to like 110,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's demand is still strong for sure for resale homes. It just kind of depends on where it is, the price, if it's priced competitively. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like my take on the resale and new constructions.
No, that's great. I think that's very insightful and kind of breaking it
Hmm.
down because, like you mentioned, clients sometimes, you know, sometimes they're just, focused on that interest rate, but there's a lot of different considerations and variables to consider. So I think bringing up that point of different neighborhoods and property taxes, that's a factor that affects their bottom line, what they're paying each month, right? So I think those
Hmm.
are, I think it's great to have a great,
Right.
uh, you know, I'll cut this. I think it's great to have
Okay.
a solid, you know, people in your corner, a great partnership with an agent that is guiding you and showing you what you need, giving you the variety of what options there are, as well as having a lender help with, getting the interest, getting all the approvals all buttoned up and showing what type of loan product could benefit them because it's not just about the interest rate. It's above much more than that. And I think all of those
For
variables
sure.
matter in that decision. And it becomes a little overwhelming for a client, I would say, especially a first-time home buyer, because they've never done it,
Uh-huh.
right? And it's like a different language to them, right? How we're
It
speaking,
is.
what lingo, what vocabulary we're talking with them. They have no idea. It reminds me of this. It reminds me when you first
Hmm.
join a company and they onboard
Hmm.
you. And you're sitting there in that onboarding meeting, meeting after meeting, pamphlet, reading through all these documents. It's overwhelming. You know what I
It
mean?
is for sure.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm like that too. Like when I'm really bad with instructions. Like you give me something, you're like, oh, you have to study for this. Like I'm more of like a can I just start and then just figure it out on my own, like
Hmm.
type of thing,
Hmm.
or if you're gonna give me instructions, can you just fit it on one page and then I could just like look at the quick recap and then but yeah, with me and more information, sometimes it could be really intimidating, but yeah, I know what you mean though. For sure, it's really important to have good people in your corner. Ultimately, for buyers, um, what I've noticed that it'll normally boil down to like the house itself, like the floor plan itself, if they like it, then the location, right? The price, and then it could be like their payments. But yeah, just really having somebody on your side that could really break down like what's really important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes buyers don't even know actually like what's the most important thing to them. They're just kind of but then that's why having good people on your team will be really helpful because they could kind of help you discover what's more important to you. Like if you have kids, do you like is school important to you, right? Or do you plan on having kids, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
you want to be in a good school? Like if you moved into this house but you had kids, do you plan on moving somewhere else? Well, you might as well just move to that location to begin with. Um,
Right.
but yeah, definitely asking the right questions and interest rate is not it's not everything right
Mm-hmm.
now. You have to really calculate um, everything, right? Property
Mm-hmm.
taxes and all of that as well, right? And
Right.
and again with new construction, how much work are you going to have to be doing after you buy new construction? Like how much are you going to because when you move into a new construction home, you're going to have like a backyard that's going to be all dirt. How much does it cost to landscape that, right? 15,000, 10 to 15,000. What if you bought a resale home? Like that's money that you could just save, right? Some new constructions have appliances included, which is nice, but some don't. It's just weighing in like what's important to you, how much cash do you want to have, how much property tax, like what is your true monthly payment going to be? So,
I have a trash. I don't know if you can hear me. That's why I put myself on mute. Can you hear the trash guy?
uh
No.
no, no, I can't hear.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
But between you and I, it's really true. Like people get so overwhelmed, and I think that's part of one of my
Mhm.
strategies is trying to, um, you know, get them comfortable, right, in the way that they know, um, they they need to trust us as professionals to show them how to get to where they need to go. And it's a discovery phase is what I would call it. And I think it's
Of
important
course.
uh, to try to keep it as simple as possible because it's again very overwhelming and it's a big decision. And the other factor is obviously if they're within a partnership, right? So it's this
Mhm.
this this discovery tango or just like this introduction dance of like what
Yeah.
are we doing, right? um but I think the benefit is I believe in real estate, and I'm sure that's why we do what we do. Uh, you know, and do
Mhm.
you own property on your end?
I do, for sure. I have two rentals out here. They were both homes that I lived in before,
Okay,
right? So I
can
never
we talk
bought one
about
just
that?
for the
Can we
sake of
talk about that? Because I
yeah,
love to
yeah.
talk about this part. This is a very great strategy.
Mhm.
Uh, so tell me and walk me through what you did to get those two homes. What was your first step? Did you live in one? And then what'd you do?
Mhm. Okay, cool, perfect. So the way that we acquired my, I guess my first rental now, it was actually my primary residence. So my wife and I purchased our first house in 2016, right? And I just felt like, this at the time I was working at Enterprise Rent a Car. I was just like a manager over there. My wife was still in dental school, and I was just surrounded by people who owned homes. And I was at the time I was just renting and just surrounding yourself with like people like that who are just telling me, "Oh, you should just buy. Honestly, you should just don't waste your money on rent." Um, I really I really thought about that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I should buy. Like we'll buy, right? My lease didn't end until like maybe 5 or 6 months, but my wife and I just made that decision. Like let's stop throwing away our money. Let's just buy a house, right?
Hmm.
Um, and as you know, like the market in 2016 was completely different, right?
Oh
So it's like
yeah.
the prices were um so we moved we purchased the house. It was 1,800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It was like your standard home, right? As far as like, if you were to do an average of what's the sizes of the homes, and it's like your typical starter home in Vegas. And we purchased it for 215,000. Now it's worth about 450. But
Oh, look at that.
um,
Look at that starter home. You know, I love what you just said. Typical and starter. So I think sometimes, let me know, have you ever experienced, some clients that they just want to go to get the biggest house immediately? Have you
right.
been through or met any
Yes.
buyers that way? So, you know, it's kind of like, my analogy would be, you're fresh out of college, and you want to buy a car, but you want to buy the Ferrari, you know? But I'm
Hmm.
like, wait, you
Right.
still need to go through the steps. So buying
Hmm.
a starter home or apartment or condo is actually a great stepping stone, because you just mentioned you bought the home at how much and what is it worth now?
So I purchased the house in 2016 for 215,000, and now it's worth like 450.
Okay, so you got some equity there, right?
So
What do you have in there?
yes. So interesting enough, right? When we moved the house 2016, the value started going up. What's funny is we did like 2 cash out refinances in that house. So we were able to like take money out and invest it into like stock market and stuff like that. But it's funny because even though we did 2 cash out refinances, we were able to um, lock in the interest rate at 2.75, like right when COVID hit.
Right.
So like our initial payment is actually lower than when I first bought the house back in 2016. And that's taking like 2 cash out
Mm-hmm.
refinances, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of crazy to me. But it's the power of real estate though, honestly. Because that we purchased that house, it gave my wife um enabled my wife and I to do so much more, right? Like that, and that initial investment, that initial FHA loan investment, we invest. I think 10,000 was like the down payment, right? So
Mm-hmm.
altogether, we were in and out of that house with closing costs, maybe like 15,000 or something like that. But but since then, we were able to pull out $80,000 that we could kind of invest in other things.
Uh-huh.
We were able to put a renter in there that now pays about 2,100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, shortly after we purchased that house in 2016, we bought another house that we moved to. It's a new construction home, literally 1 block away. So we moved there 2022. Okay, so we were in that house for a little bit. So from 2016 to 2022 is when we lived in that house. But we purchased another house. We lived in there for about a year and a half, and then we rented that house out, and we purchased the house that I'm in today. And so that's how we have the 2 rentals,
I love
right?
it.
I also told my wife. Oh, what's that?
I said I love it. That's great.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. I also told my wife too. If there's a good deal out there, if there's a good deal out there, we're gonna purchase it. We're gonna live in it for a few years, and we're just gonna try to like rent out like whatever our current house is, and we're just gonna repeat that process because we feel like buying a house, especially because we don't have any kids right now, right? I mean, that's the goal. We definitely want kids, uh, because we can adapt, um, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna follow the deals, right? If a deal falls into my lap, my wife and I we're gonna be like, you know what, like, do you want to live in here for like a few years? Like, let's do it, right? Let's put the minimum down payment. Let's move to the house. Let's rent out our house, and let's slowly acquire properties this way.
Uh-huh.
So, um,
Great
but
technique,
yeah, that's our
great
strategy, kind of
strategy.
like till this day. Hmm.
No, but very useful and informative, and also seeing
Hmm.
someone's doing it, it's very different, you know? And I think highlighting that is,
Right.
I really like to highlight that for homeowners, because then
Oh, for sure.
they being potential clients can see what that looks like. they can understand a little more rather than, oh yeah, this is what you're doing, this is what it is. But to hear it from someone that has experienced it and put the risk, putting themselves in the risk of owning a home is different. I think it hits a lot differently. I know that there's a lot of short-term rentals in Vegas. There's a lot of visitors. People love to visit that city. It's a happening place, lots of entertainment, great food. And tell me a bit
Mhm.
about where you see short-term rentals, kind of what's it like in Vegas now?
Right. So, another great question. So when it comes to short-term rentals, to be honest, um, I haven't like personally sold too many short-term rentals, or I haven't had too many investors really asking about it. Reason being, I think, is just because it's a city that I wouldn't say it's too. There's regulations for sure, right? And some cities are in Vegas. Well, I mean, there's three, right? There's Las Vegas, there's Henderson, there's North Las Vegas, right? So currently, what I'm hearing right now is for Las Vegas, they're no longer issuing business licenses for short-term rentals, right? Now, when it comes to like North Las Vegas, Henderson, it's a little bit different. North Las Vegas, I believe. Um, you are able to do it, but there's things in place where like it has to be owner occupied, right?
Mm.
Um, Henderson, I think I think there's a little bit more flexibility in Henderson, but um, it comes down to a lot of different things, right? I know there's certain Vegas just in general makes it a little bit difficult. That's why like not too many of my clients really ask. I think they've kind of like read about it, and they kind of just see what's, I guess, like how it is. I know a lot of the HOA communities won't. There's a lot of HOA communities, and they're not really for it. But there are also there's some high rises that where you can actually do that, like close to the strip. Like
Uh-huh.
I think the MGM Suites. I know you could do it there. There's so it's definitely possible. I just don't have too many people reach out to me asking about like really considering short-term rentals in Vegas. But I would say like if that was a strategy for somebody, maybe explore Henderson a little bit more. Especially like non-HOA communities in Henderson. I'd probably like lean more towards that.
So that's why, like I do recommend to buyers underwriting the deal in two ways for short-term rentals. I believe that it's best to look at the cash flow, to look at the numbers, right? But I also believe that they
Hmm.
need to look at the long-term rental income in case restrictions and laws change. So short-term rentals are kind of popular here in Hawaii,
Great idea.
but it's a good strategy and also exit strategy. So when you're looking at as an investor to kind of look at those avenues when deciding for short-term rental, because it can produce, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money off of it, right? But to the point of,
Hmm.
restrictions and laws, they change. It's so fluid. So I think that's a risk, right? Um, but with no risk, there's no gain too. So it's kind of one of
Definitely.
those things.
No, 100% for sure. Honestly, the biggest risk you could take is not taking any risk, to be honest with you. And yes, having an exit strategy super important for sure, right? Because I think especially if you're going to invest in short-term rentals out here, I highly recommend that you kind of figure out your plan B, and your plan C in case something does happen. Because um, yeah, like again, Vegas is sometimes they can make it a little bit tough on investors from
Mhm.
what I hear.
Mhm.
So, but again, I'm also not the short-term rental expert. I'm just kind of like saying what I see from experience and from what I hear as well, right?
And the clients that you serve, what would you say you have more buyers, more
Mhm.
sellers? What does that kind of percentage look like? for yourself?
Oh, okay. Great question. So it's it's more buyers, right? And the reason why is mostly because of my YouTube channel, right?
Okay.
So my YouTube channel, I feel like has automatically made me the like the new construction specialist. But I do it all for sure. I have people that reach out to me, and sometimes they don't even want to they'll ask me like, do you do other homes besides new constructions? And I do. I want to say most of my business, I would say like 80% of my business is buyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of those are new construction. They're only into new construction. 20% of my clients will be sellers, but um, I'm getting more listings these days, though, for sure. So, I'm kind of hoping that number kind of balances out for sure.
If you were to be mentoring or coaching a new agent, what would you tell
Hmm.
them or advise them in their first year of business? What activities would you suggest them to do?
That is another great question. And what I would advise them to do, right, is I would say the most important thing you can do as a realtor is market yourself, right? So, and also too, I would right off the bat, I would tell them to, you got to get on video because, like, if you don't do video, um, you definitely, I feel like you won't be reaching your potential because the thing about being a realtor is people want to see you. People want to, like they want to know you're there, and they want to build a connection with you, right? So you can go the old school route if you want to. That's
Mm-hmm.
not something I'd recommend where you could just literally call everybody on your database. You could, like send mailers out. But with the way things are now with social media the way it is, like real estate's a whole different game. You could attract so many more people just by doing videos. So I would focus on literally like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. Like if you had to narrow down your search, I'm a big believer in social media. And just to give your goals, just to have goals for yourself set up on like how much you could actually the content that you could put out there. But everything else, you can figure it out later, right? Contracts, you could have somebody help you out with that. Actually learning how to do the day to day. You'll figure all of those things out as you go. But um, if you don't want to waste time and you want to become a realtor and you want to just really, hit the gates running hard, video. Like you just got to put yourself out there.
Awesome. No, that's a great answer. I love it. Now, as we're finishing this
Hmm.
podcast, there's a couple things I wanted to ask. And
Hmm.
if you weren't doing real
Hmm.
estate, Dale, tell me what you would be doing.
Hmm. Gosh, you know what? That okay, so one thing I know about me, I wouldn't be doing a 9 to 5 job or like a corporate job. I don't think I could ever go back to that. Um I would like I guess now because I've been doing social media and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe I'd be like a content creator. Maybe I'd find ways to just go that route almost of because I definitely like the aspect of real estate where you could kind of control your time, and if you're a hard worker, you'll you'll get everything that's coming to you, right? If you really really work hard, you'll get it back, and I definitely like that aspect. And so I know I could definitely not do any job that pays like hourly.
Hmm.
So I don't know, maybe like a sales job, another sales job, or content creating. I don't know.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah. Yes. So, um, I would say because I know the market right now is sometimes could look a little bit scary. You know, you could watch the news. There's a lot of uncertainty, right? And my advice to anybody who's thinking about purchasing in this market is if it makes sense, if you have the funds and you are able to make your mortgage payments and you plan on staying in the home for a while, I would say now is definitely a good time, right? Now, there are situations where I don't recommend buying a house, to be honest, and that's in those situations where you feel like you will be house rich, cash poor, right? And you feel like you're putting like all your money towards your mortgage payments and you're going to be really tight on finances. At that point, I would say it's better to have a better quality of life than to, feel like you purchased the house and you did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to predict the short term, right? The short term kind of fluctuates. But everyone knows one thing that is certain. In the long term, prices of homes will go up in value, right? And yeah, ultimately it'll be a good investment, but if you try to time the market, it's going to be extremely difficult. Again, they say time in the market is better than timing the market. So that's just
Oh yeah,
what
that's
I'll
a good
say.
one. That's a good one.
Uh-huh.
I like that. So
Thank
thank you
you.
again so much, Dale. So
Uh,
please subscribe below to see any upcoming videos for the Real Estate Social Club. And if you're looking for a Las Vegas agent, Dale's a perfect option. I'll drop his links below to get a hold of him. Thanks so much.
all right, thanks for having me.